My name's Maya McCaddy. I'm a sophomore majoring in psychology.
Hi, my name is Yusuf and I'm a junior studying industrial and systems engineering here at Rutgers.
Hi, my name is Dahlia. My major is genetics and I'm also a senior.
I actually started calling myself multiracial recently, but I remember when I was a kid, probably 4th grade, was the first time someone was like, "What are you?" And I was like, "Oh, shoot, what am I?"
I would say that the first time I probably even thought about race in general was 5th grade. And it's not, of course, I wasn't thinking about race the way that I think about race now, but I noticed a difference in different students at my elementary school.
Elementary school that they have cultural day or something like that, and I think I had a conversation with my mom. Was what do I dress up as, because I knew that both my parents were from different cultures, so I think that was just a memory that I have of being multiracial and having to pick one culture to display on cultural day.
I think that racial identity in general, and for me as well, gives me a sense of belonging to a certain community. And I think that being multiracial is actually, it can be beneficial because you can relate to more people.
I think being multiracial to me is just being able to embrace both cultures and just to explore their differences and their similarities, as in their food, their music, their traditions, even though both my cultures are very clashing, in my opinion, that I think based on my faith.
But I feel once I got to Rutgers, I realized that a lot of people are mixed race. I was probably one or two mixed people in my grade, because I went to a very predominantly white school.
Yeah.
So when I got here, I was oh, it's kind of normal to be lots of people are mixed. I was oh, okay, I can start calling myself mixed.
I think that one interesting thing about being mixed race is that you do kind of reflect, or you adopt, I guess, the pride that your family has in your different races within yourself. And so if your parents are proud of their racial blend, the racial blend of your family, or your grandparents are, they're proud immigrants, or they're proud of their culture and they're proud of their background, then I think that you yourself you'll see that and you'll kind of just mirror it whenever you grow up, and you'll embrace the differences that are in yourself.
I think my mom, she speaks both Tagalog and Arabic.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think her speaking Arabic is just it kind of makes it easier for me to identify as Arab, because both my parents speak Arabic. Most of our house is decorated in Arabic letters and decorations like that. We all listen to Arab music more than Tagalog music, and she also she just embraces that culture more. So I think she has a strong influence of how I identify myself.
Yeah.
I'm actually closer to my mom's side of the family, and I feel we were in those spaces more.
Language is very important about the culture, and I think that's why I feel so detached from different groups of people, because I don't speak the language.
I honestly wouldn't tell people. I honestly don't know if people in my high school knew that I was mixed. I would always feel some weird imposter shit, or even if people were accepting, I don't know, something about it would feel oh, I'm not fully part of the group.
I definitely think that being mixed race makes it more difficult to grow up, because you don't have one set identity that you can just run with. After you reflect and you take time to settle the dissonance that's within yourself in your identity, I think you come to a much more organic and a much more truthful and of course a much more diverse view of yourself.
It's a complex identity, and I also feel just being a mixed woman, there's some there's some weird like fetish stuff too. Whereas like if you're a woman, there's like all the like stereotypes and things you're dealing with just as a woman, and then when that's like mixed with race, it's like it just exacerbates it, and it's like, oh well, if a black woman is like in charge, she's aggressive and masculine and like all these things that just make it harder to like be respected.
And then I think a big one that's important is how people treat you. If you grow up and you see that people are mistreating you because of your race, you're either going to find a good community that's going to help you embrace it, or you're going to reject it. You're going to feel ashamed, and then you're going to reject your racial identity.
But like my mom would always like notice and tell us like whenever there was like a little microaggression that like went over our head. I feel like she was very cognizant of it, or being like, why is everybody looking at us right now? And it was like all four of us out. So she actually kind of helped me realize like, oh, people kind of don't really understand this. Or it's just out of the ordinary. So yeah, I feel like she actually was good at like showing me that like, oh, I am mixed race. This has like implications, and people feel a certain way about it. But it was definitely like a healthier way to learn than at school.
But it's just like an internal like thing that I have, like, oh, I'm like not fully this side, so I don't know if I belong because you know, I don't speak the language. So yeah, I haven't explored much into the culture, like clubs there.
But if the percentage is small for certain communities, whatever it might be, whatever racial communities might be at Rutgers, people band together well. So they form clubs well, they organize pretty well, and there's a lot of communities and clubs that that go on, which just has definitely helped me meet more people who look like me and talk like me and maybe have similar values to me, which has definitely been beneficial. I
feel like just being in a space where everyone's like, I'm mixed and I'm proud. It's like, oh, I can be mixed and proud too. So I feel like just, yeah, probably like being in the club has made me like actually say that I'm mixed now. And then when I tell people like, oh, I'm in the mixed club, then they're like, oh, what are you mixed with? So that like kind of starts like conversation and things.
I think the way they say it too is like sometimes they're like, oh, like you're a little interesting looking, like what are you? But I have a lot of people, I'd rather get that instead of them assuming it, because I've gotten many times where people just like go up to me and start speaking Spanish. I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying, I'm sorry, but like that's not who I am. It
was never a sore topic. It was never like something where, it's never something to be ashamed of or something to hide for sure. That was the specific culture within my family, to not be ashamed of your background and to always stand up for who you are. So I had that advantage. I just think that it's very important that a kid or somebody who's growing up mixed race looks at diversity as a huge positive.
If I had a choice to just choose one, and maybe it'd be easier to explain to someone what I was if I was just one thing, I definitely would not take that choice, because I feel like then I wouldn't be me. Like I feel like I'm a very complex person, and that comes from having like a complex heritage.
Because like when I look at people, I don't really think of like what race you are, like what kind of group you come from. So I think not viewing people with like the race glasses, but like more like you're a person and like your race is just a part of you, and like how you hold yourself is different.
I went to the first meeting. It was like, do all mixed people think the same? And it was like hearing other people having similar experiences, I was like, oh, I feel like this is where I like would feel most myself. I feel like that feels good, because it's like, wow, I feel like I'm actually honoring like all the parts of myself that I feel like I've like not in the past. So I like actually having like the ability to say like everything that I am. Sometimes I even need to like remind myself and be like, oh yeah, like that's an important part of me. That's where my family's from. So yeah, I like actually like saying it. out loud.
I think it's great to be able to relate to a lot of different groups and to always have a commonality with multiple groups. I think when you're multiracial, you're not fully accepted into one group, but that doesn't make you an outsider necessarily. You have an overlapping Venn diagram, so to speak, and that makes you can belong in multiple rooms. You can code switch, and it's not a completely negative form of code switching. I think it's not negative as long as you don't shed certain races that you have, just to embrace other ones, or maybe as long as you don't have shame around a certain background.
Even outside of fusion, just like the fact that not even like that there's so many mixed race people, just that there's so many people of different racial backgrounds has been like really cool to see, because I never saw that and I feel like I always like stood out. So I feel like just being around people who they may be mixed race or just are different races than me has just made me like think less about my race, but like in a good way. Like people just see me as just a person.